Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Gaming here. Back to the video. Today's episode, we are taking a look at Ivern Jungle, how to play them. Again, this is just going to be like a beginner's guide. If you're new to League of Legends, you have no clue how this champion works, that type of guide. Not going to see a whole bunch of advanced stuff in here. Okay, so some of the pros of Ivern is he has a very unique jungle clear. He doesn't damage camps directly like a lot of other champions do, so he can clear pretty safely without losing any health. And this also enables very fast setup for ganks. So that's one pro. Another pro of Ivern is he has really strong utility, and he plays almost more like a support. So he has lots of shields. He has brush creation. He has root CC. He's got his Daisy to provide a lot of CC. And he's one of the ultimate peel junglers. So he really, really counters like assassins or anybody who's going to try to dive your carries. Ivern's going to be great at sort of controlling that. He also has pretty good objective control as well, right? If you think of something like Dragon, you can kind of come in here and you can ward off, or excuse me, you can brush off specific paths that your enemy might take to try to fight or get to the dragon. And this is actually pretty strong that he can do this and just completely block off a lane, especially if you have a sweeper, because they're going to try to ward this, or if you have a control ward, they're going to try to ward this brush, and you can completely lock out their line of sight of this dragon if you're smart with your brush play. Now, some of the cons of Ivern is he has a very low damage, so he can't really carry any sort of fights just through his raw damage, and he relies heavily on his teammates to deal damage for him. He's also a very vulnerable jungler, especially pre-6 without his Daisy. Daisy is most of his damage. It's most of his CC as well. So without those two, you're going to be very vulnerable to invades. So this is one of the best junglers to invade, and you can really shut down his early game. Excuse me, to invade against, not to invade as. Is he's very team reliant. So if your team is far behind and you're ahead, there's really not that much you can do. So Ivern can be very difficult to play in the lower elos because typically it's hard to rely on your teammates to do anything correctly. But on the brighter side of that, there's typically one teammate on your team who's kind of with it, and you can just kind of carry that one person, kind of boost them, amp their damage, and peel for them. But that is a con of Ivern, is he is very team reliant. So we'll start out with this passive here, Friend of the Forest. Ivern will not hurt non-epic monsters. Instead, Ivern can right-click a monster to grow a grove that costs health and mana. These groves will grow over 40 seconds, and then once fully grown, Ivern can harvest them. So we can take a look at this, and we'll just come over to our raptors here. And you can see we can't attack them, but what we can do is we can right-click on them, and we create this grove. And you saw the Friend of the Forest passive there. And you kind of see this ring that's starting to grow. It's starting to kind of colorize. And when this fully completes, you can come back to it and you'll get XP and you will get gold from it as well. Now, one little catch to this is you can instantly grow this if you just smite it. So if you use a smite charge, you can come back and you you don't even have to leave, actually. You just instantly smite it. A lot of times you'll see that with a buff, something like red buff. You can just smite it here. You can see the ring has barely even started, and we can smite it, and we got the red buff, the gold, and the experience. Now, I also want to show you guys what it looks like if you don't use smite. So we'll go down here to our Krugs, and we'll kind of let this ring start to build up. And typically, as this ring builds up, you go and do other things. So I could go bot lane. I could do a gank down here. I could go get Scuttle Crab, whatever. And then when this ring is complete, I can come back and obtain it. So we'll take a look at that. So here we are. Just say we went and did crab. We put our ring around it. And then now we can see that our ring down here is almost complete. So we'll go back to it. We'll just teleport there. And there it is. And we just walk to it and just simply right click it. So that's how Ivern works. That's how he clears, which is super, super awkward and is completely different from any other jungle champion in League of Legends. So that's his passive. Let's take a look at his Q. Most of his other abilities are not nearly as in-depth as that one. His Q, Root Collar, Ivern conjures a vine, dealing magic damage and rooting the first enemy hit. Allies that attack a rooted enemy dash into attack range, and then Ivern can recast this to dash into the rooted enemy. So we can come in here and we can, let's get a minion up, or excuse me, enemy dummy. And we'll just Q the dummy. He's rooted, and we can cast Q again to dash in. Now, we'll also take a look at his W and his E. So his W, passive while in brush, and for 3 seconds after leaving, his attacks deal additional damage, and nearby allies will also gain this effect. So he's a little bit stronger, actually, fighting from brushes. Kind of similar to something like a Rengar. Obviously, you don't get the big, crazy leap that Rengar gets, but you can utilize some of this brush to do increased damage, right? And you can see we have this passive effect here, and now that's gone, and you see our hands are no longer glowing either. So just show that one more time. You see we have the glow on our hands, and then when the passive effect goes away, the glow is gone. Now, this also has an active effect to it as well, so you can actually lay down your own brush, which is really neat because you can utilize that when you are fighting, and you kind of want to weave in and out of brush as you're fighting somebody. So it's not useless, just in terms of just throwing a brush down and say somebody wards it. It's still not useless even if it's warded because you're getting that damage amp from it, right? So just to show you, you can kind of cut specific paths off if you're getting invaded or something. Let's say the jungler's coming from this direction. You can throw down 3 brushes here and completely block the vision, and he can't see you at all. And that makes it very dangerous for somebody to walk into this because he didn't know what's on the other side of this brush, right? Another thing a lot of people do with his brushes is they will take it up to an ally's lane. So let's say your mid laner here is fighting with whoever. You can drop a few brushes here for him that he can weave in and out of, and you kind of support them in that way. Even though you might not be able to get the gank off, whatever, he can still utilize these brushes for a while. And he can also get the magic damage amp from this as well. But for him to get that damage amp, he does have to be nearby you, and he has to be within this little brown circle here. That's another way you can kind of use your W. Let's go ahead and move on to his E, Trigger Seed. So Ivern grants a shield to an ally champion or Daisy, which we've not talked about yet. After 2 seconds, it bursts, dealing magic damage and slowing enemies by 40% for 2 seconds. If Trigger Seed detonates and no enemy champions are hit while the shield persists, the ally will be shielded. So this ability actually has 2 parts to it. You get a shield. It actually has 3 parts, 3 or 4 parts. So the shield effect has 2 parts. So you E yourself, you put a shield after 2 seconds, it sort of bursts, and then another shield will pop afterwards. So that comes from the bottom portion here. So if Trigger Seed detonates and no enemy champions are hit while the shield still persists, the ally will be shielded. So to get this second proc, you have to not hit an enemy champion, and you also have to have at least some form of the shield left. Almost like a bloom effect, right, of the seed. So that is one way that you can get a little bit bigger of a shield. So typically you want to use this as the engage, and a lot of that is due to the damage it gives. You get soak damage with it, and it also has that slow effect on it. So typically what you're wanting to do is we'll just spawn another dummy here. You typically want to shield yourself or an ally and then Q in, and then it will burst, do damage, and slow. So we'll look at the combos more here in a minute, but that's just like a very basic combo you can use. And they also have the ultimate Daisy. So Ivern summons his friend Daisy to leap into the field for 45 seconds. And Daisy's really strong for us because she provides additional CC. So Daisy's 3rd consecutive attack on the same champion or epic monster will launch a shockwave, dealing magic damage to all enemies hit, as well as knocking them up for 1 second. So you see that we're level 6, and we put a point into Daisy. And the cool thing about Daisy is you can just summon her, and she'll come out, she'll target an enemy, and there is the knock-up effect. And you can see that she does a pretty significant amount of DPS. She probably does more DPS than we do, honestly. So just something to keep in mind. You are much stronger when Daisy is out, and you're very, very vulnerable when she's not out. Now, you can also control her. You can just press R wherever you want her to go, which is very handy. You can kind of see that she was attacking that dummy, and I wanted her to come off. And just walking away by yourself won't do it. You have to target her off. She just desummoned herself, but you kind of get the point with that. So we will auto-refresh cooldowns. And now let's go ahead and talk about our max order. I think we've discussed all the abilities. So when you start out level 1, And I don't know if I can... I can't D-level myself. When you start at level 1, you're going to be taking your Q first, then you'll go into your E, and then into your W last. So your max order is going to be E, Q, W. Levels 1 through 3 is Q, E, W. Max order is E, Q, W. So E is going to be the main ability you want to max. The shield from it's nice. The damage from it's nice. And for the most part, Q and W are just utility spells. And this is where you're going to be getting most of your sustain from, is from your trigger seed. And then, of course, putting a point into your ultimate whenever available. Okay, let's talk about itemization a little bit. So you can see right now, he has a super high win rate. He has a 53.6% win rate. Now, this is an Emerald Plus. Obviously, if we drop that down to something like Bronze, it's going to drop. But Ivern he's in a pretty good spot right now. He's even lower in Silver, and I'm just curious what his gold is. So he's under 50% even in gold. So, just kind of keep that with a grain of salt. In the right hands and with the right team, Ivern is very strong still. But like we said earlier, he is a little bit harder to play in the lower elos. So, starting out with some of his runes, he does run Summon Airy. The reason for this is due to his shields. Summon Airy you can be used for damage, and it can also be used for shielding as well. So it works great with his kit. He's also running Nimbus Cloak. This is going to help you gank a little bit more effectively with Flash, also allowing you to move through units. Right, so you don't have to path around that minion wave. We also have Transcendence, more ability haste, means you can cast more abilities, and we also have Water Walking, which is great for any jungler. More movement speed in the river. We'll be running Inspiration with cashback. So gold back whenever we purchase legendary items. That's just a complete item. So this is just going to allow you to scale a little bit faster, which is what we want on Ivern. We want to get items, get levels, because, again, we're very weak in the early game. And then also Cosmic Insight for more haste. So our spell haste and item haste. We'll also be running 8 ability haste, movement speed, and health scaling. This is the ability max order that we talked about earlier. And then just kind of looking at some of his spells. So he's taking Flash, Smite. Your starter item is going to be the Blue Gustwalker. And this one's really nice because this is going to grant us move speed after entering a brush or killing monsters. And this is going to be another reason that you want to put down as many brushes as possible, because you want to proc this. We're also running Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Again, you can probably see a pattern here. Summoner Spell Haste. We'll be running Redemption. So target an area to restore health to allied champions and deal true damage to enemy champions. This is really good because of that additional shield power that we get out of it. We also, again, get ability haste from it, and then we get some tankiness with health. Not that, I mean, the base mana regen's okay. That is going to help us kind of sustain throughout the jungle, but, not the best thing in the world. We talked about Boots already, and then Moonstone Renewer. Again, more health, more ability haste, and then Starlight Grace, healing and shielding an ally. Change the effect to another ally, healing 30% or shielding 35% the original amount. So you kind of play Ivern, again, like a Karma, like an Enchanter almost. And our entire kit and our entire itemization is going to kind of revolve around knockups, slows, peel, and shielding and healing effects. So it only makes sense to go into an Ardent Sensor from here, right? Healing and shielding on an ally enhances you both for 6 seconds, granting attack speed and magic damage on hit. This is one of the things that makes Ivern so strong is, again, his buffs. So Ardent Sensor is really strong on him because he can proc it so quickly with Moonstone Renewer, right? You can do multiple Ardent Sensor procs with Moonstone Renewer, and we have such a low cooldown on our E. It's a 10-second cooldown. You can proc Ardent Sensor multiple times over and over. It's actually even lower than this. I don't have items. I don't have all my points into E. Every 5 or 6 seconds, right, you're able to proc your trigger seed and get that shield effect, which in turn procs your Ardent Sensor. So very strong. We're also running Dawn Core. This is going to give us heal and shield power and 10 AP per 100% base mana regen. So very interesting item. This is kind of, we talked about base mana regen on the Redemption. We have base mana regen on Moonstone, base mana regen on Ardent Sensor. So Dawn Core kind of plays into that. And this is going to kind of allow you to spam your abilities, because now we have the mana to sustain it, and then we also get the additional potency from all those spells due to First Light. And then finally, we have Shirlia's Battle Song here. Inspiring Speech, grant nearby allies 30% move speed for 4 seconds. More AP, more haste, move speed, and base mana regen. Now, this is another potential build. I'm not going to go too deep into it. You can see the runes change. This is going to be more of an AP focused build if you want to do a little bit more damage. And this is a build that I'd recommend if you don't think that your allies can carry the game for you and you think that you're going to have to carry it yourself. Um, Daisy's third auto attack her knockup effect scales with AP, and then all her entire kit basically scales with AP. So you're going to do more burst damage with a build like this. And this would be a good build to go if you're against like a tanky sort of composition and you just feel like your team does not have the damage. Because Malignance is going to give you that burn. You're going to be able to get Bloodletter's Curse, which is going to reduce any sort of magic resist that they have. And you're also going to get the burn effect from Leandry's. So pretty good sort of cut down type of build. We're also taking Precision. It's going to give you some of that bonus adaptive damage. So I would say this is more of like an auto attack sort of focused build, looking to sort of cut down those healthy targets. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some of her combos. Okay, looking at one of your most basic combos is going to be to summon your Daisy. And then just simply Q and E yourself. And just go in just like that. Now you can also eat your Daisy. Right, and you can grant her that slow effect, right, without even having to go in yourself. So that right there is just kind of a very basic combo. Another thing you can do too to help you land your E a little bit better is you can root collar inside of a brush. Right, so you can kind of utilize the brush. You can walk up, Q, E, Q, and then go in like that with your Daisy. So to show you what that looks like one more time, a W, Q, E, Q. Now, if you are in melee, right, and you're not coming in from range and you're just like dueling somebody, your typical combo is going to be brush for the damage amp, Daisy, E yourself, auto attack, and then when they're up in the air, Q, Q. And then from there, just follow up with a couple auto attacks. Okay, so this is the jungle clear that I personally use. You can start your passive Friend of the Forest and want to smite this immediately for blue buff. And then we took Q, right? So we can Q over to our wolves here. We can take them. And we can Q over here to raptors. We can take them. We take our red buff. And then we can Q over to our Krugs here. That's one of the reasons you don't really want to Q red buff, is so you can have it for Krugs. And then we're just going to go all the way back to the top. And we will take Gromp, and we will smite the Gromp, and then we will just work our way back down to these camps, right? So we can come up here, we can take wolves.
Hunters on the prowl, run and hide. Sun and rain are the only magic items.
And then now we can see that these are starting to finish down here. So we can Q over. We can use our plant to speed this up. We can Q our raptors again. And then we can take our red. And then we can Q over to our Krugs here and take. You see that is a pretty quick level 4 at 3 minutes. Alright guys, that's been it this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. See you in the next one.